Hi there, thanks for checking out this video for Dragonlance, some DM tips for Dragonlance Chapter 6 on the Shadow of the Dragon Queen campaign. There will be spoilers here, so if you're a player, please play the adventure first and then come back and check this out after, and let us know how it went for you. This is for level 8 characters when they start, and they should reach level 9 partway through the adventure. The project lead on this was F. Wesley Schneider, and here is a layout of where the adventure is going to take place in the City of Lost name. So the party has found this lost city in the desert, and they're going to make a way secretly into the city and then reconnoiter around the city, try and reforge a Dragonlance, try and find out what the dragon armies are doing here. They'll be led to the threshold of the heavens. They may try to assault the bastion of Takesis, but if they do, they'll be driven away. And at the climax, the ultimate encounter, when they're in the threshold of the heavens, the dragon armies will try to raise the city. The party will stop that, hopefully, and such the dragon armies will only be able to raise the bastion of Takesis and not the whole city as they had planned. So, the adventure takes place over quite a bit of scope here. So when I ran it, this is roughly the outline that it took us to play. 3 sessions of 4 hours each. First with the Path of Memories as the party makes their way into the city. Then there's the Testify Sorcery there at the end of the Path of Memories. And then they get a view of the city. They see the Death Dragon, Karavarix, and Soth. They have the check-in from their allies through their Fargab. And then into the next session, the party can start to explore the city. They really can go to 3 different locations, to the temple first, to the mansion first, or to the threshold. And it's written as if they'll go to the mansion first, then the temple, and then the threshold, but I think most parties are going to make a beeline right for the temple. And that's what mine did. So I threw in a lot of exploration encounters on the way there because I wanted them to basically end the session at the temple right after reforging the Dragonlance. And then the last session, they first tried to go to the Bastion of Takesis, were driven away, then went to the mansion, got some information that would help them get into the threshold of the heavens, went in there, had the climactic battle, and the city started to rise and they escaped. So that was Chapter 6. Now, let's look at some of the images here. So you have an NPC, Demelian, who the party will encounter as they're getting into the city. And this NPC was there when the city fell and can share some information with them, and can also, if there's any mages of high sorcery, administer a test of high sorcery to those mages. Then you have the view overall of the city. This is the test of high sorcery, so the actual order of these two would be different. And then if the party goes straight to the Temple of Paladine, they're going to first have to get past this Treant Guardian. Then you have the Temple of Paladine. Then at the manor, the leader of the army, dragon armies, is this Auric Draconian named Hask. And then if they go into the threshold of the heavens, they'll run into Belaphaon, who they maybe have heard name dropped a couple times so far leading up to the adventure. And then finally, as they're escaping and the rocks are falling, this is a picture of a Draconian here being crushed down by the rocks. So let's look at the encounters, the adventure, the maps. There's a lot of random encounters here, so you can definitely use those for pacing and to fill in gaps. Drop them if you don't need them. If you want to extend the session, though, you can include every single one of them. And of course, interactions with NPCs can take more or less time. The music that I'm using, really there's like 4 bits of music I used, all from Tabletop Audio. The Cave of Time is for the first area the party will go through, and I'll crank this up here so you can hear it. Just kind of moaning sounds and water dripping and that kind of music. And then the Desert Awaits for their exploration of the city. Break that up. And then Ancient Artifact when they get to the Dragonlance in the Temple of Paladine. And then finally, Abyssal Gaze works good for if they're exploring the threshold of the heavens. Just some really weird sounding music there. All right. all those are built right into Roll20, so you can grab those from there. So the first session, or the first point the party will come to, is the Path of Memories. Oh, and the world view here. This is taking place at the giant spine in the northern wastes that the party's found this lost city. So they'll start out coming through this Path of Memories. There's some ancient Istarian encounters they can run across. There is a dragon that they can awaken, and they can hopefully negotiate with and make go away, but they might have to fight this dragon here. And at the very end, before they get to the City of Lost Names, they have this NPC, Demillion. And Demillion will try and challenge them with an air elemental, which I grabbed this image here, not from Wizards. I don't know the artist I grabbed it from, but you can do a search for that image and see if you can find something similar to use. Now, I had run the Test of High Sorcery, the Test of High Sorcery here from Jonathan Fry and Kiana Shah, which you can pick up at the Dungeon Masters Guild. And the wizard that was doing it actually failed the test, so they were going to have to do more testing, but they were allowed to live because of the importance of the mission they were on. So if you've done this and they passed, you might not need to use the Test of High Sorcery. That's actually in the adventure. But this is highly recommended. I highly recommend you pick that up. Okay, then Demlin can also share with them what's going on in the city and kind of the layout of the city, can point out landmarks for them. And then that first session will end with kind of a cliffhanger as the party's watching out from the Path of Memories over the city. They get a good view of the city. You can describe it. You can describe, all the broken districts scarred by fire and flooding, and the delicate tower of sharp marble with graceful buttresses rising at the center of the city. And then they will see coming from the Bastion of Takesis to the left, the south for them, the cataclysmic dragon rider. And by this point, one of my characters, Mooncatcher, had found out or met this dragon in the past during his Test of High Sorcery, and so knew the dragon that Soth is riding. And as Soth flies away from the city, the party will hear the crackle of their Fargab, if they're still carrying a Fargab, and Rukeldust will check in with them and say, are you okay? We're going to try and draw away the army, and please hurry, as they're exploring the city. And then, boom, that ends that first session. Then you come back for the second session, and it's basically time to go explore the city. I didn't minimize all those notes, but nor did I think I'd do the notes. Yeah. So anyway, exploring the city. So you have the manor, you have the temple, and you have the threshold of the heavens. And of course, there's the Bastion of Takesis. So the first map here, the Path of Memories, that's built into the adventure. The map for the manor is built into the adventure. These are both by Schley, I believe, and very well done. The map of the temple, built into the adventure. I'm going to zoom out here. Scroll over to the far right. The map of the threshold of the heavens, built into the adventure. And then you can pick up on DriveThruRPG Tessa's map set for this. 94 maps for Dragonlance. $10. It's a steal. I would buy this all day, every day, running this adventure. And all these maps in the center section here are by Tessa. And you can see they fit the theme. Tessa has the Test of High Sorcery map the party could encounter, and then maps that go along with all the random encounters and the approach to the Bastion of Takesis here. So, highly recommend those. And again, the random encounters, you have ghasts, you have Civac Draconians on a bridge, you have some ghosts, Astarian ghosts, some Cyclops that have moved into the place, some Draconians sending down a Istarian drone, and a Salad hunter. Engineers trying to figure out how to separate the city. Capac Draconians on patrol, the Bastion of Takesis, of course, and then a generic map campsite that if the party is going to do any camping, they can use. And then a map for after the end of the encounter in the Threshold of the Heavens, and his party's trying to get away, jumping from rock to rock to rock and trying to get down to the ground and flee the place. Okay, so your party is probably going to go straight for the temple. The temple being a paladin, being right up here on the map. So this one turned out to be pretty tough, and it can kind of really depend on how the how diplomacy goes for the party. When I ran it, the party's dice were ice cold, and they were having no luck with diplomacy with the guardians of the shrine, the treant, and so that battle was really difficult. And then you gotta get past a Merid, who's also guarding with the water elemental. And then if you get into the temple, you have various undead in the floor that you can fall into, and finally you have the shrine. And the party can, as they approach this shrine, the chancel, they can learn about Paladine. So the altar here is the symbol of Paladine. So anyone with like Paladine as a god, or a paladin, or Knight of Solamnia, or a high religion skill, you can drop this information with them. And I'll put the various knowledge things that I used in the description below. I'll also put the names of the music I used in the description below. So then, the lance, if they put the lance within the beam of light, it will shine with a silvery glow. The rust covering it bubbles and leaks a dark liquid that flows away from the altar and disappears, and at the same time the spear lengthens, growing into a whole newly forged dragon lance. And I think in the adventure it says to make it a pike, but I actually made it a lance since there was a party member that used lances a lot, so left it the horseman's dragon lance, not the footman's dragon lance. They hear the powerful voice, and then this is actually the voice of Paladine, which you can share with someone who knows who that might be. And then finally the divine healing, where they get all their healing happening. And they can gain a level. So then, the next place they might go to, they might try to go right to the Bastion of Takesis. Hopefully they'll be driven away. And then Occupied Mansion, hopefully will be the next one. If they don't go there and they go to the Threshold of the Heavens first, you might just end up skipping the Occupied Mansion. But here it is. The party went in there with disguises and just went straight up to the commander's quarters and had a fight with the commander there and his various lieutenants, and were able to get some information from that would help them get into the Threshold of the Heavens. And that's really the main thing that can happen there. You see the little tokens I use for doors. When I'm using an open door, I just drag that out there so I can indicate these doors are open when the party's opening and closing doors. Okay, then, after the party gets through the manor, they should go to the Threshold of the Heavens. And here there's some pretty heavy patrols, but if they have the right passwords that they can find in the manor, then they can get through the front doors and into the place, bypass the guardians and start going up the tower and see all these amazing, technological things the Astarians had. They go up to the higher levels, they can run across some Astarian drones that they have to overcome, hopefully not trigger if they can help it. There are flame skulls that they can run into. Auric Draconians strategizing over a map of the area, and they can see the armies moving around on the map. And then they have this NPC, this black-robed wizard, Lahazet. And Lahazet will try to double-cross the party. When I played him, he just fled because the party was taking Belafeon to task. And Belafeon, in the book, is a young blue dragon, and I made Belafeon a full adult blue dragon. I think at the time the party had armor that gave them resistance to lightning, so they had, pretty good resistance to fighting the blue dragon. And of course they have a powerful barbarian, a powerful paladin, who now is wielding a Dragonlance. So I upped the challenge a little bit, and it went pretty well. And then of course Belafeon tries to, raise the city, but the party has thwarted that already in the tower. And that brings the party to the end of the adventure. So 3 sessions to play this part of the adventure. Truly epic feel. The party can really go in any direction they want and take things on in any order they want. Hopefully they'll get to the Dragonlance before they go to the Threshold of the Heavens. I mean, if you have a party that's going to the Threshold of the Heavens first, do everything you can to dissuade them so they go to the Temple of Paladine first, because that could really mess things up for them if they didn't get the Dragonlance before they have to go flee the city. That is Chapter 6. I'll be putting out a video for Chapter 7 pretty soon. We finished the campaign. It was a lot of fun, so I hope you're having fun if you're running it. and I will talk to you later.